My name is Ben Booth. Welcome to Big Sky Voices.
And I'm Victor Walmet from Storyteller Films, and our guest here today is a local producer of TV and film named Brent Morris. Brent's about to start in his own project. Brent, tell us a little bit about your upcoming film called American Ghost.
Okay, American Ghost. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Victor, Ben.
Well, it's great to be.
Yeah.
I swear, it's an honor. I asked Victor, I said, what is he doing? Victor says he's done everything. So we're glad to have you.
I have not done everything. Before I talk about the film, I will tell you, I came out of being a production manager and a line producer for feature films, which is not the same as raising money or creatively producing them. And about 10 years ago I decided I wanted to learn how to make documentaries because I really like nonfiction filmmaking. So I took a course, made a couple of them so far, very small budgets, and so now I'm embarking on a third feature documentary called American Ghost.
Well, you still work in that world too, the producing and the line producing world.
Yeah, I make my money primarily doing that.
So you know the nuts and bolts of how to put a picture together, a feature or a documentary, you know.
Yes. Most of the films I've worked on are probably in the $2 million to $10 million budget range,
Right.
but I have worked on some TV series, I've worked on some web series now, and knock on wood, have a pretty large feature film this fall and next spring as a production manager.
I am interested in why you decided to take the leap from working for other people as a line producer and a project manager into making your own project, and what drew you to it?
Well, originally I started out as an actor, and my parents met in acting class in Los Angeles, and so I had a bit of that in the family, and I came up wanting to be creatively involved in theater first, and did some directing and acting in theater mainly in Los Angeles. But I realized early on I wasn't a great actor, or I didn't feel I had the potential to be a great actor, and I gravitated to the behind the scenes world when I got an internship in a Beverly Hills production company. And I read scripts for them, I took scripts around town, and they dictated letters to me, pre-internet days. And I learned what they thought was commercial, and then a producer took me under his wing, and I worked for him for 3 years. And then another director said, "Would you like to line produce a film in Miami with Dino De Laurentiis producing?" And that was 25 years ago. And I went freelance at that point. So it wasn't any sort of overarching desire to become a line producer, production manager, but I enjoy the logistics side of it and making money, of course, and raising a family. I needed money. So that's where I sort of ended up. And about 10 years ago, I wanted to start making documentaries. I really enjoy that art form and way of communicating. So I started from the ground up and, bought a camera, made some small things, made 2 feature documentaries that have had limited but somewhat successful distribution locally, and then I found this book, American Ghost, which
American Ghost. It's an intriguing title.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, well, it's based on a book by a writer named Hannah Nordhaus. Hannah is the great-great-great-granddaughter of Julia Staub, and Julia Staub was a German Jewish bride who was brought to New Mexico, Santa Fe, in 1876 by her husband, Abraham Staub. And he was one of the wealthy, or not wealthy at first, but enterprising merchants who, at the end of the Santa Fe Trail, were able to sell a lot of goods to the military, to the settlers here, and in time he became the richest man in New Mexico.
Wow.
So his wife, Julia, she died, unfortunately, at the age of 52, or 54, I think, and there are a lot of rumors surrounding her death. No one's quite certain what happened, but her entity, her spirit, has been seen at this hotel in Santa Fe called La Posada, which is on the site of her former home.
Oh, so the hotel is where their home used to be.
Their home was,
Okay.
the La Posada is
Ah,
basically surrounding the Staub mansion
No
that
kidding.
Abraham bought built for Julia and his family.
okay. So there's some questions about how she passed.
Questions about that, and questions. I mean, a lot of people seem to have seen her ghost, if you believe in that. So Hannah, years later, found a family history in an old house, family vacation house up near Las Vegas, New Mexico, and found that not only was Julia mentioned, but a lot of her ancestry had a lot of interesting experiences. There were quite a lot to explore, so she devoted the next several years to trying to find out what really happened to Julia Staub and her family. And she not only does it through research and genealogy, she goes into the paranormal world by consulting psychics, ghost hunters, spiritualists. And so the book is really a blend of journalistic history,
Yeah.
and an exploration of the eternal questions: do ghosts exist? Are we able to transcend this plane? How do we set a soul free? So it has a lot of different of messages. I
Sounds
think.
fascinating, I must
you.
say.
Yeah.
Now,
I find it.
is this still exciting to you? Is this like almost a drug? Do you really get into these projects?
I would say yes. It's like it's adrenaline mainly.
Yeah.
And also working freelance, you have to keep busy. You have to keep your mind occupied, because there are periods. I've had 3 months off without a steady job. I've done some consulting and things like that, but things like this keep me creatively involved between the paying jobs.
You almost have to have the temperament of a farmer. You have to be willing to go through some dry zones,
I
don't
would
you?
think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've always thought I'd love to be a farmer, but I'd go crazy during the off season,
You have to stock away like a squirrel,
Yeah.
keep some nuts for the lean times.
Yeah, but too, that is not only a wonderful story, but that location. Everybody identifies with La Posada. Everybody that's been, there
Everybody's
at
been to
Christmas
Santa
time.
Fe,
Yeah. Or New Year's night. Everybody wants to go in there and have
Have a drink at
a
La Posada,
celebration.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's how I knew it. I didn't know anything about Julia Staub. I had been to the bar a couple times.
Yeah.
So when I saw Hannah read some selections from her book at a book signing, I mentioned that to her, and then she wrote in the front of the book that I bought, "Brent making a movie."
Yeah.
So she gave me a relatively inexpensive option, and it's been 2.5 years, and I've been developing it in various ways. So I feel like a documentary is a good way to tell a story.
I think with a subject matter like that, the historic interest plus the intrigue of it, you would think that there would be ample funding out there. Are you slowly getting the word out and getting some people to come in with you?
Well, I need more people to come in with me.
Yeah.
I've got a few small donors. I'm not asking for donations per se. I'm asking for
Looking for an investment, right?
crowdfunding early on to get
Yeah.
some seed money. And then ideally, I have a budget. I have an ideal budget of $500,000. I have a smaller budget for $175,000. And then I probably have a budget for the least amount I could do it for, which is maybe $20,000 to $50,000, which will be a much smaller scale film.
Yeah.
It'll still be an interesting film, and there's travel involved back to Germany, so there's a bit of money I have to pay for the book rights. So I'm looking to find investors and people interested in going on the
Sounds
journey.
like a fascinating story. Everybody loves ghosts.
Oh yeah. And
Not everyone loves to see ghosts. I think a lot of us are afraid to really confront a ghost. I am.
Yeah.
But it does
But I
bring
think
that
this
up.
thing will be popular. People are going to want to see this story the way you put it
I'd go
together.
see it for sure.
Yeah.
I might even buy the book.
How would people get in touch with you if they wanted to be a part of it?
Okay, well, we have a website, AmericanGhostDocumentary.com. That's the easiest way. Brent Morris, brentmo.pro@gmail.com. I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
They Google me.
Yeah.
Good.
What was it? We interviewed a couple that was doing crowdfunding for a project.
They're doing a documentary on bomb removal in Laos,
Yeah,
right?
and we did an interview with them, threw it out there, and Victor and I, he threw it on his Facebook and his contacts. I threw it on my list, and about 2 weeks later, they sent an email. We hit our target. We're off to Laos next week.
That's right for them.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
you know,
so
documentary.
You never know. You
it's-
never know.
you know, you're not doing documentary really to get rich. It's a way to tell stories. It's a way to reach people about subjects and explore things that narrative commercial filmmaking doesn't really deal with a lot. So I really enjoy it on that level.
Now, you say you still have an adrenaline factor with this. This may be a hard question, or may not be. What is your favorite part of your job, what you do right now? What do you enjoy the most, or is there a most?
I enjoy all of it. I think in terms of the production managing side of things, it's really fun to actually take the script and put a plan together and the planning stages, because that's when you have the most sort of creative input into the project. Once it's up and running, you're basically managing it and you're signing checks and making sure people are doing their jobs, that kind of thing. In terms of documentary and directing, I think it's all interesting. I really enjoy editing. I enjoy the post process because that's where the film kind of gets made in a way. But I
Spend
enjoy all
nights
of it.
in a room and tinker with it.
Exactly. I just enjoy the process, and I enjoy the cyclical nature of it, because you're never doing the same thing over and over again.
Do you use like a board where you put Post-its, or a blackboard where you say we're going to do this, this, this? How do you structure
I
it? How
should do more of. I have a mood board of photos and creative inspiration for this. I do a lot in my computer programs. I have a calendar, and I also have. I've been using just a simple notes program that you have on your iPhone, and basically just putting in everything into that, and then I can open it up anywhere. But
Don't drop your phone, Brent.
well, it's also on the computer. It goes into the cloud automatically. So
Good.
You got it backed up. So instead of doing notebooks, that's kind of what I've been doing a lot lately.
Well, you came here to Albuquerque from somewhere else to make your living in the film business. What's the state of the film business here now that you observe? And, you know, why do people come here and make films? Or TV?
State of the film business is, it's good. It's definitely on an upswing this year, I think. We do go through various dips and valleys and then heights. You know, it's very cyclical business, like you said, farming. But I think we're in a good place. We have a leadership now that really sees the value in the film incentive, and about 8 years ago we were worried that the film incentive might dry up, and that's when I made the last documentary called Made in New Mexico. But I think it's proven to be an economic boon to the state. I think it gives a lot of the young people here something to aspire to. And we do have a brain drain here in New Mexico. You know, a lot of the graduates,
People leave?
They can't find jobs.
Okay, all right.
So this is one of the things that brings people here and allows our kids to stay here and work.
Actually, I think, Victor, when you and I came here, the meter went down.
The brains started draining?
kind of a reverse drain.
You know, that could be.
I mean, it's, you know, we got to do whatever we can in New Mexico to keep
I read
economic activity
some
happening.
national site that rated New Mexico as the #6 state in terms of advantageous making of film and TV product.
I think that's probably right. I think the incentive has been stable and paying out for over 10 years now.
Right.
Like 15, I think.
Right.
And a lot of the states that offered more lucrative incentives, it's now defunct, like Michigan, and I know Louisiana's was having some trouble. I think they're still going, but every year somebody else comes up with an incentive, like New Jersey, for example. I think they're offering 25. So we have to be competitive. We have to keep in the mix and be aware of what's happening around it.
So just to put it in dollars and cents, anybody that invests in your film American Ghost is guaranteed getting 25 cents back on the dollar they invest because of the tax incentive program of the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, that's a pretty secure, well, I don't know what to say. Return in terms of tax incentive, yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, you know, there's something metaphysical or spiritual about this place. My wife tells me that she's inspired to be creative more in New Mexico than almost anywhere. something about the air, the sky, the whatever. And I know I've published 4 or 5 books here and over 700 articles, and I'm not that productive in other places. For some, I can go to Florida or Georgia, and for some reason I just get stifled by the humidity or something,
Right,
you know,
right.
or the culture. I don't know.
It's the sky, Ben. It's the big sky that
Big
does it.
sky.
The big blue sky.
Well, you are a big voice when you're producing, and we appreciate you being here on Big Sky Voices because your
thank you.
voice is worth hearing. And have you ever thought about in the next 20 years all the things you'll work on and produce, and some of them you'll look back on and say, "Oh, that was beautiful," or "That one I'm proud of," you know. And,
Yeah, I
you're
have
making a
those
difference.
already. I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
those, you know. And
Some
they
of your
come-
favorites. Can you
They
tell
come
us?
back around. Well, I think early on I was line producer on a movie called Smoke Signals that
nice.
won a few big awards at Sundance and became one of the first commercial films that was directed by a Native American and primarily produced and acted by Native Americans. So I'm proud of that. I worked on this movie Monster that Charlize Theron won her Oscar for.
Oh, right, right.
I've worked on many films that I'm not that proud of in terms of their sort of content, but each one I learned from. Here in New Mexico, there have been some fun ones. Beer for My Horses was a Toby Keith comedy.
Right.
That was early on. I worked on a couple really interesting films. One locally produced called Blaze You Out. One called Shot Caller about the prison system. And yeah, besides the ones that I'm making on my own.
Yeah, good.
I think there is a culture here that is unexplored in that regard.
Yeah.
I'm working with somebody on coming up with a budget for his pilot that's an all Native American cast, and
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see if
Their quality's slowly improving, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like everything, and the technology's there, and there's such good storytelling in the Native American tradition.
Yeah.
And there's untapped audiences.
Yeah. Well, we want to encourage you. We're on your side, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud to get to visit with you personally. Victor, thank you for
Oh, you're very welcome, and I just urge everybody to keep up with the progress of American Ghost, because it sounds finance.
And if we want to follow you, what's your website again?
Okay, it's AmericanGhostDocumentary.com.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brent,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very much.
Godspeed.
This is Victor Wamed with Storyteller Films and Big Sky Voices, and my partner.
Ben Booth, and adios. Thank you so much.
All right.